The other vehicles were partially damaged in the blast.
Firefighters working to put out fire from damaged vehicles at the police headquarters in Abuja. The fire was caused by a loud bomb explosion detonated by a suspected suicide bomber. According to the police, the suicide bomber drove into the police headquarters shortly before 11 o'clock in the morning. Unknown to a traffic warden who led the suspect to the car park near the gate, he entered the car with the visitor for searching and checking. At 11 o'clock, a device believed to be a bomb went off in the car, causing policemen at the headquarters to run helter-skelter. 33 vehicles were burnt, while 40 others were damaged.
The Inspector General of Police has expressed his displeasure over the suicide bomb attack on vehicles at the Force Headquarters Abuja car park. The unfortunate incident, which led to the death of the suicide bomber and a police traffic warden, occurred at about 11:00 hours when the suicide bomber vehicle was intercepted and directed to the car park for searching and checking. The traffic warden who entered the vehicle of the suicide bomber to direct him to the car park was blown off along with him, that is the suicide bomber, as soon as they got to the car park. The IGP wishes to appreciate the effort of the fire servicemen, NEMA, the Armed Forces Fire Service, who promptly responded to put off the fire. The body of the suicide bomber has been recovered and if investigation has commenced. Members of the public are assured that the criminal elements behind this dastardly act will be fished out, as the government, the police, and other security agencies will not succumb to the demand of any criminal group or individuals.
The police said it suspected the radical Islamic group known as Boko Haram for the bombing. Mr. Amore said the group has issued several threats before the explosion.
Well, we'll definitely be suspecting those group that go by the name Boko Haram, who has been issuing threat upon threat, and for which the police is rising up to that challenge. You remember we just came back from Maiduguri, where we took about 10 APC to rise up to the challenge of the insecurity in Borno State.
Besides the deceased, 9 people were injured in the explosion. The head of surgery at the Sokoro District Hospital, where they were admitted, said they were in stable condition.
All of them came here, but they are, just when you came in the morning, they are now stable. What I mean by stable, cardiovascular system is normal, respiratory system is normal, the person is breathing fine, is realizing as well, they are not. So we still have to discharge it to another a police health facility. We brought in the 2-3 police doctors, gave them the history, the biodata, the clinical condition at the time we were discharging them back to the police clinic. If they were in serious condition, we would have discharged them, but they are stable and so short. You're just so one that we actually need maybe observation for the next 24 hours. But generally speaking, they were all stable. So none came out of all the victims that were brought in here alive, all left alive.
The police has promised to provide more information about the bomb explosion at the end of its investigation. But while the nation awaits the outcome of that investigation, the police need to answer the following questions. How did the police conclude that the suspect was on a suicide mission? If he was discovered to be on a suicide mission, why was he allowed into the police headquarters without screening at the gate? Is it the practice to ask a traffic warden to enter into a visitor's car to direct him to the car park for what the police called searching and checking? These are some of the questions the Inspector General of Police needs to answer in the ongoing investigations.
All really pertinent questions there. But in the meantime, militant Islamic sect Boko Haram has claimed responsibility for the bomb blast at the police headquarters. Spokesperson for the group, Usman Al-Zawari, in a statement posted on the Voice of America website, said, quote, "We are behind it and we're going to attack the entire north and other parts of the country, including the capital, Abuja." The self-acclaimed Boko Haram spokesman is reported to have also told the VOA that Boko Haram personnel returned from Somalia 5 days ago and have been deployed across northern Nigeria. Earlier this week, the group laid out its conditions for a ceasefire and government-proposed peace talks. Well, Mr. Zawari says for the moment, those efforts at reconciliation have collapsed and security agencies should prepare for intensified attacks.
There have been more reactions coming in concerning the latest bomb blast in the nation's capital. Senate President David Mark has expressed grave concern about the spate of bomb blast, which he said was a threat to the security and corporate existence of Nigeria. He enjoined security operatives to rise up to the challenge and arrest the situation. Senator Mark contended that no matter the grievances or anger, resorting to violence, terrorism, or wanton destruction of lives and property cannot be a way out. And from the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwa, the Speaker, has commiserated with the Inspector General of Police, the Police High Command, victims and relatives of those affected in the blast. According to him, the incident is most unfortunate, coming at a time when all hands are on deck to enhance the frontiers of peace, unity, and national security. He pled the resolution of the House of Representatives to provide whatever legislative intervention necessary to resolve crisis and uphold the relative peace and stability which democracy offers. On his part, the Niger State Governor and Chairman Northern Governors Forum, Dr. Muazu Aliyu, has condemned the attack, describing it as horrendous and cowardly. He noted that the killings, maiming, and destruction of public properties will never bring any good to the society. Governor Aliyu wondered why anybody could unleash such wave of terror on innocent citizens for any reason. Says no innocent citizen of the country should be allowed to pass through such traumatic ordeal again. And in Cross River State, South Nigeria, Governor Leah Limoki has commiserated with families that lost loved ones in the bomb blast and tasked security operatives to intensify efforts in ensuring adequate security in the country. Governor Imoki also appealed to aggrieved members of any group to channel their grievances through constitutional means rather than resorting to violence.
Well, just hours after the explosion that hit the police headquarters in Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, another hit the town of Damboa, 90 kilometers off the Borno State capital, Maiduguri, leaving children dead. The Borno State Police Commissioner, Mr. Jiri Abubakar, told Reuters News Agency that the children were playing in a compound near the church when the blast went off, killing the 4 of them and wounding another. Boko Haram, a radical Islamist group which wants a wide application of strict Islamic law across northern Nigeria, is suspected of being behind almost daily attacks in Borno State for several months.
This is the first time the police headquarters has become target of any group for a bomb blast, but it is actually a continuation of a series of bomb blasts that seem to be a defined solution and must be giving security agencies in the country a serious cause for concern. We'll now take a look at the timeline of some of the recent bombing incidents in the country. On October 1st, 2010, militant group MENT detonated 2 bombs close to the Eagle Square, where the president and other top government officials as well as foreign dignitaries gathered to celebrate the country's 50th independence anniversary. Several people were killed and several others injured.
Well, Christmas Eve 2010, a series of bomb blasts rocked Jos, the Plateau State capital, and Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, leaving over 30 persons dead and several others injured. On April the 8th this year, a blast at INEC Soldiers' office in Niger State left 6 ad hoc members of staff of the commission dead and election materials destroyed. Just about a month ago, on the May the 29th, after the inauguration of President Goodluck Jonathan, another series of bomb blasts hit 4 cities, Bauchi, Zaria, Abuja, and Maiduguri, killing a number of people and leaving many badly injured.
The CBN governor lacks the absolute power to sack bank executives, so says the Federal High Court in Lagos State. That's on the business scene.
Please stay with us.
Channels Television, the nation's #1 for sports reportage.
Surely now Spain have won the World Cup.
Share the magic moments of success, victory and triumph.
It's yours, Spain.
Monday to Friday on Sports This Morning and Sports Tonight.
Welcome to Sports.
Plus, Sports News Roundup every hour, 7 days a week.
As coach captain,
for the biggest and the best. Breaking news and exciting interviews.
Yeah, there will be a lot of upset. I want to wait till after World Cup.
Where else but Channels Television, your award-winning television station of the decade. Channels, defining the moments of true sports.
Welcome back to News Track. An Abuja High Court has granted bail to the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Dimeji Bankole, and his erstwhile deputy, Mr. Usman Afada, who are standing trial for allegedly committing criminal breach of trust when they conspired between themselves to approve the upward review of allowances and running costs of members of the House of Representatives. Justice Suleiman Belgore granted the accused persons bail in the sum of 50 million naira each, with two sureties who must not be below the rank of a permanent secretary but must be resident in Abuja.
The court also ordered the former speaker and his deputy to submit their travel documents to the court and not to travel out of the country without the permission of the court. Justice Belgore ordered the accused persons to be remanded in EFCC custody pending when they are able to perfect their bail conditions, while trial has been fixed for July the 19th. Well, Nigeria has been described as experiencing a turning point in its economy, and women, numbering about 74 million, should be fundamental players in accelerating development in the country. This was the observation of Dr. Robin Sanders, the former U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, who was a guest speaker at the opening of the Foundation for Skills Development Seminar held in Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Dr. Sanders emphasized the need for entrepreneurs to practice sound business plans, good accounting practices, training, and retraining of the nation's human resources.
The fact that you are producing, designing, employing, and innovating represents the leadership role that SMEs play in the development of any nation, particularly in Nigeria, given the creativity, the ingenuity, the dynamism that exists in every sector and every part of this nation. You are or will be the country's middle class. And with that comes certain responsibilities. Not only do you fill the development enterprise space in the world of the private sector, but more importantly, as the country develops, a strong middle class also offers other social changes that should take place in your country.
There is overwhelming evidence that small and medium-sized enterprises run by women are major drivers of economic growth. Is that the situation in Nigeria as today? No, but we know that that change is coming, and we will also be able to do what China is doing and what other nations that have the kind of population we have are able to.
Our business news begins in the court. A federal high court in Lagos has ruled that the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Lamido Sanusi, lacked the absolute power to sack bank executives without disclosing the findings and recommendations of the special examination conducted into the books of the respective banks to the affected directors. Justice James Soho held that though the CBN has power under Section 35 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act to regulate and control the business of banking, when such powers would fundamentally affect interested parties, there should be disclosure.
While ruling on a suit filed by some aggrieved shareholders of Afribank against Mr. Sanusi's actions, Justice Soho dismissed the preliminary objections filed by the CBN and its appointed directors, saying that the objections could not be sustained in law. The shareholders had instituted the suit through their lawyer Onyebuchi Anyako against the CBN and other defendants, including Afribank MD Nabodlisa Ara and 4 executive directors of the bank. Justice Soho has fixed September 26 for hearing of the motion for a stay of proceedings. Nigeria sold 70 billion naira worth of 3-year and 5-year sovereign bonds at the 6th auction of the year. According to the Debt Management Office, it sold 35 billion naira apiece of the bonds, which mature in 2014 and 2015 respectively, at an auction on Wednesday. Yields were higher than at a previous auction in May at 11.69% for the 3-year paper and 12.75% for the 5-year paper. The 3-year paper had been issued last month at a marginal rate of 11.03%, while the 5-year bonds were sold at 12.23%. The DMO said total subscriptions stood at 153.15 billion naira compared to 129.22 billion naira last month. The central bank issues bonds on a monthly basis as part of measures to finance its budget deficit, curb inflation and control money supply. In company news, Union Bank of Nigeria PLC has recorded pre-tax profit of 36.45 billion naira in 2010 from a 279.78 billion naira loss the previous year. Gross earnings rose to 130.41 billion naira from 112.08 billion naira. Union Bank is one of the 9 lenders rescued in a $4 billion bailout in 2009. In March, it signed a $750 million recapitalization deal with a group of institutional investors led by the African Capital Alliance private equity firm.
Well, still to come on News Track on the international scene, Greece finally gets a new executive cabinet.
Please stay with us.
Let's go on a journey into the health world. In less than 30 minutes, every Tuesday, Health News reports on the latest medical breakthroughs in research and treatment, analyzing government's health policies and bring you up to speed with current medical studies, general health and safety. Because health determines the very quality of life, Health News helps you stay alive by keeping you informed on topical health issues with health tips for healthy living. Make it a date with us on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Friday, 12:30 p.m. Health News. It's all about promoting good health.
Welcome back to News Track. On the foreign scene, there are reports that Syrian troops traveling in tanks, armored personnel carriers and buses have moved into 2 northern towns. Security forces are gathering in Khan Sheikhoun and Marat al-Numan, a town of 90,000 people between Damascus and Aleppo.
Well, the United Nations says no fewer than 1,100 people have died as the government has violently sought to quash protests over the past 3 months. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has urged Syria to halt the bloodshed and stop killing people. President Assad is facing the gravest threat to his family's 40-year ruling dynasty, as unrest that first erupted in the south of the country has now engulfed the north near the border with Turkey and is threatening to spread eastwards towards its border with Iraq. In Europe, Greece's Prime Minister has announced changes to his cabinet. Evangelos Venizelos, as the country's new finance minister, tasked with tackling a crippling debt crisis. The country's former defense minister replaces Judge Papa Constantinou, who has been moved to the Environment Ministry. The other movements include Stavros Lambrinidis, formerly head of the ruling Socialist Party group of deputies at the European Parliament, who has been promoted to Foreign Minister, Deputy Defense Minister Panos Beglitis, and the Deputy Labour Minister George Koutroumanis has been given ministerial posts. Proposed reforms to the country's economy have sparked riots in Athens and nationwide strikes while rattling global markets. The country is seeking budget cuts worth 28 billion euros over the next 4 years. The leaders from France and Germany are meeting shortly to discuss further assistance aimed at preventing Greece defaulting on its debts.
Former IMF chief arrested for sexual assault, Dominic Strauss-Kahn, has complained about being handcuffed and initially claimed diplomatic immunity when he was arrested in New York. Transcripts released by prosecutors in New York reveal the detail of the day he was arrested at the city's JFK airport. He has recently resigned from the IMF and is living on bail in New York. He has pleaded not guilty to charges of sexual assault on a hotel chambermaid. His lawyer, Benjamin Braffman, has refused to comment on the release of the transcripts. Nigeria's Dream Team 5 chief coach Austin Agwavon has admitted his frustration at fashioning out a formidable squad against Tanzania this weekend in this weekend's 2012 Olympic qualifier. A rush of injuries has depleted the Nigerian side, with the high-profile players like Daniel Uchechi, Rabiu Ibrahim, Nusa Igebu and Nnamdi Uduamadi set to miss the crucial encounter scheduled to hold in Benin City, Edo State.
Well, the former Super Eagles defender is confident of victory over the Vijana Stars of Tanzania, who have a 1-0 lead from the first leg played 2 weeks ago in Dar es Salaam. Meanwhile, Wenlo hitman Ahmed Musa has joined the team's camp. The arrival of the former Kano Pillars striker swells the number of players in the camp to 26, which will then be pruned to 21 for the match. Well, Nigeria Football Federation have said they will try to mend the rift between coach Samson Siasia and West Brom striker Osaze Odemwingie after the player was frozen out of the squad for the last 2 matches against Argentina and Ethiopia. Odemwingie left camp in March without permission and later went on to Twitter to accuse his boss of insensitivity. The protracted situation was expected to come to an end after he served a 2-match ban. But Siasia informed the media in Abuja last week that the player would not be welcomed back until he tenders an apology to the rest of the squad. Odemwingie was twice voted Premier League Player of the Month in the just-ended season and scored 15 goals for the Baggies. He's been courted by a variety of top clubs but has stated resolve to stay with the team next season. The Disciplinary Committee of the Nigeria Football Federation have disqualified Akwa United from the 2011 Federation Cup. Akwa United failed to present its players' licenses before the round of 64 clash against Shooting Stars of Ibadan, which they won 4-2 via penalties in Minna. But following thorough investigation into the protest brought by the Shooting Stars, the football ruling body awarded a match to the Oluyole Warriors. The Shooting Stars will now confront another Akwa Ibom State team, Akwa Starlets in Bauchi, for a place in the group phase. And UEFA has confirmed that Real Madrid's appeal against a 3-match ban handed to coach Jose Mourinho for his comment after the first leg of Real's Champions League semi-final defeat by Barcelona will be heard on July 29. European football's governing body gave a 3-match ban to Mourinho, with 1 match suspended after he made allegations of favoritism towards Barcelona during the April 27 game. Barcelona won the first leg 2-0 at Real Santiago's Bernabeu Stadium before a 1-0 draw, and the return leg took them into the final, where they beat Manchester 3-1 to clinch the title for the 4th time. The former Chelsea and Inter Milan manager has already completed 1 match of his ban, having watched the second leg of the Barcelona tie in a hotel room. He was also ordered to pay a $72,000 fine by UEFA. And the Boston Bruins have been crowned NHL champions, crushing the Vancouver Canucks 4-0 to win the Stanley Cup for the first time in 39 years. The Bruins won in Vancouver the first away victory in a 7-match series. Patrice Bergeron opened the scoring with 4 goals from Brad Marchand, another from Bergeron, and a final period clincher from Marchand. The Canucks had the NHL's best regular season record but have never emerged as Stanley Cup winners. Vancouver had led the series 2-1 and 3-2 but lost the final 2 games to allow the Bruins to secure the cup amid emotional scenes in Vancouver. For Vancouver, the loss ended their dream of winning the Stanley Cup for the first time. They joined the NHL in 1970-71 season and were appearing in the finals for the first time in 17 years. Accounts for us on sports news and news track.
Well, do remember that you can also watch the latest news and updates and development stories on Channels Television on all of these mobile devices the iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, and Android.
Also watch channels live on your device. Log on to channelstv.com. Select your device platform by clicking on the application tab. For iPad or iPhone, click on the Apple tab. For BlackBerry, click on the BlackBerry tab.
Thanks for watching. I'm Timmy Tokwe Gbedi.
And I'm Mao Weogun. Health News is up next.
Please stay with us.